Well done on the Omega mission. Will you have the same success in Atlantis? Shield's directive is to keep the world peace. To do that, we have to monitor the activities of every major civilization. I'm sure they wouldn't be too happy, and that's why they aren't going to find out about it. We realize now that Doom had no intention of commandeering the helicarrier. They attacked to draw additional security forces there. Correct. The Omega and the experiments it held was their prime objective all along. Dugan's still trying to sort things out, but apparently the base sustained only minor damage. Yes, they'd been locked in a cold storage unit on level 3. Aside from some minor cases of frostbite, everyone was fine. You're welcome.
As you wish.
We just received a message from Namorita, the cousin of Namor. Apparently, there is a riot going on in Atlantis. Unknown, but for some reason, the Atlanteans have forcibly removed Namor from his throne. Yes, which means something is seriously wrong. See Wyatt when you are ready to go to Shield's outpost in Atlantis. We do not know. He has been a fair and just ruler for many years. The people love him. Perhaps, but Namor has always been kind to his people. There has to be some other explanation for this mass hysteria. When Mer people and surface dwellers first met, there was quite a bit of hostility. There were even several invasion attempts. The relationship between our two races is lukewarm at best. The Mer people prefer to keep us at arm's distance. Once you reach our Atlantis outpost, you will be infected with a special nanotechnology. Mr. Fantastic and Dr. Pym had a hand in developing it. It will allow you to breathe water with no discomfort. You will also be able to move along the bottom of the ocean, as if you were moving on dry land. My apologies. I should have given it to him as soon as we arrived. Please, take this to him. You are quite welcome.
Sure thing.
The nanotechnology team will be meeting in the electronics lab.
Ah, my cybernetic helmet. Thanks. I owe you one. The mutant amplifier vastly augments any mutant's natural power. So a psychic that can lift a book will become powerful enough to lift a bus. Yes, but it has some serious side effects. The amplifier causes damage to the DNA of any mutant it's used on. Not much. The serum's only worked on Captain America. There's something very peculiar about his physique. That, plus the doctor who originally developed it, is dead. He'd wind up with a bunch of muscle-bound beasts, just like you saw in the Omega. They're psychotic, violent, unable to take orders. Not exactly what you'd want from an army.
Happy birthday, Mr. Grimm.
Ah, it was no problem at all.
Why not?
Mr. Stark, there's a Harold Hogan on line 2 for you.
Thank you for the decryption module. Now I can patch directly into the SHIELD database.
Stark, there's Miss Bambi and Miss Heather.
Namor is the first known hybrid of Homo sapiens and Homo mermanus, humans and mer people. He can breathe water and air, but if he's away from water too long, he will begin to weaken. As with most mer people, he has an inborn distrust of surface dwellers, and true to his belligerent nature, Namor can take his distrust to the extreme. The Atlanteans are distant cousins to your race. Having evolved on the ocean floor, it is impossible for them to breathe air.
President is on line 5, Colonel Fury.
Because they live in the extreme conditions of the ocean, merpeople are very hardy. They are stronger than humans, can swim up to 30 miles per hour, and live to be over 150 years of age. I am glad to be of assistance.
Johnny Storm would like you to announce that today is Ben Grimm's 65th birthday. Happy birthday, Mr. Grimm.
Welcome and good day to you. I am Edwin Jarvis, personal butler to Mr. Anthony Stark. This area is where Mr. Stark carries out the research and development of his Iron Man suit. As you can imagine, the body armor has become so complex that a staff of technicians is required. You may walk around and inspect the facilities. I believe you'll already find several of your compatriots here.
The name's Jack Hammer, but you can call me Weasel. Everyone does. Yeah, and don't worry, I came in through the back. No one saw me. Wyatt Wingfoot gave me a damaged laptop. Said you heroes wanted to know what data was on it. Yeah, that laptop holds security information for a building called the Imperium. I can find out, but you'll have to get me the password into S.H.I.E.L.D.'s priority files. Oh, there's 3 possibilities. Jacob Fury, Baron Strucker, or Gabriel Jones. Talk to Vision. He'll be able to help.
I know seeing the Super Soldier project has raised some concerns about S.H.I.E.L.D., but let's get all the facts before we cause any trouble. I think S.H.I.E.L.D. has a lot to deal with, and sometimes it makes mistakes, but historically, it's done a great job of keeping the peace. I saw they were testing out a new version of the Super Soldier Serum, the same type of drug that gave me my strength and agility. Yes. During World War II, I volunteered for Operation Rebirth. It was a program for creating physically superior soldiers. I exceeded their expectations. Unfortunately, Dr. Erskine, the man who developed the drugs, was killed, and no one's been able to recreate his work. I have to admit, things sound kind of suspicious. Like, why was she carrying that laptop during the attack on the helicarrier? No. I'd need a lot more evidence before I'd say something like that about the Black Widow. Anytime, friend.
By your command.
Has Tony Stark got it made or what? He's rich, he's a genius, and to top it all off, he's got the perfect mustache. Gee, I can't see why. Dr. Doom's in control of an army of supervillains, and the Black Widow is working for him. Are you off your meds? The only thing that would make this worse is if the Earth were destroyed to make way for an intergalactic highway. Of course she is. Hey, I've been at this superhero game long enough to know that the hot chicks always turn evil. Probably because evil pays better. If one of Nick's little S.H.I.E.L.D. agents is turned to the dark side, then Nicky'll have to figure it out for himself. No, it isn't. If you finish that sentence, I'm gonna put so much web in your hair, you'll have to shave your head. Sure.
Sure thing.
I must admit, I find news of a SHIELD outpost near Atlantis very intriguing. Now I know the extent SHIELD is willing to go to gather information on countries with closed borders. Indeed it does. And now I wonder if perhaps SHIELD doesn't have an outpost hidden there. We have the largest deposit of vibranium in the world. To open our borders would be an invitation to those who would conquer us. Over the centuries, fools have tried. But the Black Panther is always there to stop them. Indeed I am. Victor Von Doom has created a sizable army of supervillains. I don't know, but Doom must have a truly grand scheme to risk attacks on the helicarrier and the Omega base.
You are quite welcome.
Okie doke. Weasel, old buddy. I haven't seen you in weeks. Where have you been hiding?
In the hospital, you stabbed me in the leg. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. But I had to. You were trying to eat the last cheesy puff.
It was my bag of cheesy puffs.
Well, that's not how I remember it.
It definitely belongs to the Black Widow. It's got her fingerprints all over it. For most techs, it would have been a lost cause, but for me, I managed to drag up a few tidbits of information. It mostly dealt with a building called the Imperium. I don't know, but that laptop had the layout of the building and all kinds of information about the security. I can, but you need to get me Fury's password into S.H.I.E.L.D.'s priority files. I bet I'll find everything you want to know. My sources tell me it's one of 3 possibilities. Jacob Fury, Baron Strucker, or Gabriel Jones. That's what I need you to find out. Talk to Vision. He'll be able to help. Sure. Anytime.
As you wish.
The Black Widow is up to something, I just know it. Did you see how nervous she was on the helicarrier? Sure looks like it. She must have been trying to get that laptop to the enemy during the helicarrier battle. Yes. That laptop shows all security systems for the building. And from the looks of those systems, the Imperium must hold something valuable. Not yet. She's his second in command. We're going to need some pretty strong evidence to shake Fury's faith in her. Yes, Colonel Fury's trust doesn't come easily, and once given, it's nearly impossible to break. Okay, so Daredevil and I were close several years back, and the Black Widow and Daredevil were close not so long ago. No, I'm not. I'm long over Daredevil. If he can find happiness with the Black Widow, I wish them both the best. You're welcome.
Gotcha!
Stark Tower's a beauty, isn't she? I consider her one of my greatest achievements. No problem. Our little task force needed a base, so it seemed like the thing to do. I wasn't worried about the cost. That is, until S.H.I.E.L.D. and I had our little disagreement. More like they had trouble with me. I wanted out of the weapons business. I can't tell you how many breach of contract suits they filed. That was just the beginning. Suddenly I had trouble getting building permits, filing patents. Don't get me started on how my taxes changed. I'm not sure exactly. One morning I realized I needed to do more than just amass wealth. I wanted to help people, and weapons aren't that helpful. You really don't need that many billions to get by. No, my life's taking a new course. I want to be remembered for helping lives, not destroying them. Anytime, my friend. Anytime at all.
All right.
I do hate to impose, but if you see a cufflink somewhere in Stark Tower, could you return it to me? It was lost by Mr. Stark, and it has extreme sentimental value to him. My name is Edwin Jarvis, and I'm Mr. Anthony Stark's butler, as well as the butler for the Avengers. You could say it runs in my blood. My mother and father worked for Mr. Stark's parents. It is a dream of Mr. Stark's that was 4 years in the making. The top 3 floors are his living quarters. The rest of the building houses his business interests. No, not any longer. Mr. Stark recently had a change of heart concerning that particular field of industry. This is primarily where new Iron Man suits are built for Mr. Stark. Oh, indeed he does. But as his designs have grown more and more complex, he has required assistance in manufacturing them. It was my pleasure.
By your command.
I've heard people complaining about S.H.I.E.L.D. since we got back from the Omega. I'm telling you, it's gotta stop. I trust Nick Fury. He's pulled my fat out of the fire more times than I can remember. Look, Fury does what he has to keep the world safe. He ain't always got the luxury of playing by the rules. I've known her for a while. She's always been good in a fight, and Fury trusts her. Unless that meathead Weasel comes up with better evidence, I ain't believing nothing against the Black Widow. Of course I am. He's been loyal to me. After all the trouble I had with the Hand recently, I owe Fury my life a dozen times over. Let's just say that evil bunch of psychos got hold of me and turned me into their assassin. It caused a lot of people a lot of pain. But Fury helped me out, kept me alive, and I'll never forget that. Sure thing, bub.
Welcome, my friend. Do you require information?
Mr. Stark?
I know it's a name Colonel Fury would just as soon forget. Jacob Fury was so jealous of his older brother's success that he turned to a life of crime. Yes, and to make matters worse, the Colonel was forced to kill Jacob. So you can see why Colonel Fury does not care to dwell on that name. I would suggest you talk to the Black Widow about that name.
Warning. A small thermonuclear
I am glad to be of assistance.
was last seen in the weapons lab. The President is on line 5, Colonel Fury.
Greetings. Welcome back. I would not say that name too loud. He is a leader of Hydra and a longtime nemesis of Colonel Fury. You should ask Colonel Fury about Mr. Jones. You are quite welcome.
Johnny Storm would like you to announce that today is Ben Grimm's 65th birthday. Happy
Well
birthday,
done on the
Mr.
Omega
Grimm.
mission. Will you have the same success in Atlantis? Gabe? Heck yes. He's a great guy. Back in the day, he was one of my Howling Commandos. He still is. Gabe's one of my top advisors. He saved me from making serious mistakes more times than I care to remember.
Miss Heather here in the main lobby to see you.
You're welcome.
The nanotechnology team will be meeting in the electronics lab. Colonel Fury, Red Rome is on line 6. Warning. A small thermonuclear device is missing, and Denson was last seen in the weapons lab.
Ah, splendid. You located the missing cufflink. It was a gift from Miss Virginia Potts when she had been Mr. Stark's secretary. It was my pleasure.
Hey, how's it going? Thanks. When you get back from Atlantis, I'll have all the information you need. Sure. Anytime.